Well, here's my bear bag, still hanging there just great. And everything seems to be good, so doesn't appear there was any animal activity last night. So yeah, I'll get this thing down, have some breakfast, and try to get it together. Looks like the sun is just starting to make itself known over there. Good morning. All right, all cleaned up, and I am off this morning. One last look at the hill with that bear came running down, though. That was pretty crazy. Only one other time in my life I can think of, one other time I can remember, did I have a bear kind of come running into my camp without knowing I was there, out on the AT. Came barreling down the trail just like this. Ran right across wherever I was tented at. Jumped about a mile high and then took off. All right, it's gonna be a good day. Well, here's a public service announcement. Some generic Pop-Tarts, some sausages, some salami, and some peanut butter crackers have milk in them. What does this have to do with hiking? Well, since I'm allergic to milk, I did not know that those things had milk in them. I have not been feeling great for the last week and a half or so. And I realized, first of all, a while back that I had bought these sausages and been eating them and they have milk in them. Like, okay, well, that seems weird, but all right. So I've looked around and I realized, okay, I can buy other sausages without milk. So I did that. Then I went in somewhere another time and bought some salami. Well, you think maybe I would have thought, hey, those are similar. That's similar to sausage. Let me look, but I didn't. And it had milk in it. And I didn't realize that till after I ate about half of it. And I just threw the rest away. Didn't eat any meat on the trail for those few days. Then went to Dollar General, bought some generic Pop-Tarts. I know Pop-Tarts don't have milk in them because I've looked. So I guess my brain just thought, well, generic Pop-Tarts are going to be the same thing. So I took a box of them on the trail and ate them. Then I went back in yesterday when I resupplied at another Dollar General. I thought, I'll just check them real quick. Milk. So, I was really feeling bad the last like 3 days or so. And then I went and bought these other I went over to buy some peanut butter crackers yesterday that I have also been eating this whole past week from the last time I resupplied at Dollar General. Guess what? I swear I've checked them in the past and they didn't have milk. Maybe I'm wrong, but anyway, they do. So now I can't eat those either. So I don't know what the heck. I'm gonna just eat my shoelaces out here because I'm pretty sure they don't have milk in them, but I haven't checked. They might. Well, it's almost lunchtime, and then I will spend most of the rest of my day climbing. Got about 3,000 feet I need to go up. The good news is that I'll climb a little bit and I'll take lunch, so that'll help break it up. But also, there's water all the way up the mountain. So I won't have to, so often water's obviously down at the bottom in the valley, and then for 5 miles you're carrying, 2 or 2.5 or more liters of water. But I'll be able to just carry, probably 3/4 of a liter up here and just stop whenever I need it. So that'll keep some weight off my back. Well, I don't know if I'll ever get down to cross the McCloud River, but wow, it's a big impressive river. I hope I get to get down and see it a little bit closer. You see a little bit of it there too, but I don't know. I'm only going up from here, so for a long time, so I'm not sure I'll ever see it. Maybe upstream a ways. All right, well, I'm just looking for a place to have lunch. The good news is this has been a really moderate climb so far. I mean, heck, it's nearly like walking on level ground, so that's great. The bad news is I realized it's not 3,000 foot climb, it's about 3,700 feet, so I'll be doing it for a little longer. This beautiful pinkish stuff right here I've been avoiding for the past couple of hours because it's poison oak and it's all over the place. So just hope I haven't touched any of it too much. Well, I do get to cross the McCloud River. Nice. What a cool bridge. It's not often that you see bridges built at an angle like that, you know, going up to one side. Anyway, beautiful. Yeah, I'm just getting ready to cross this river, and I saw this little guy hanging out in a tree. I don't know what he is. Anyway, it looks big now, but he's a little tiny guy. Something about that creek crossing did not seem right. I thought I was probably not on trail. I had just walked down this little road and there's a PCT cutoff to the left. And I went straight there, so anyway, I just went back 50 feet and went up the correct trail. Okay, well, this climb still wouldn't be all that bad, except that it's shot up to about 90 degrees in the shade. And very little breeze every once in a while. But it's been months, I think, since I hiked 90-degree weather. Boy, when I step out into the sun, man, it just cooks my skin off. So anyway, luckily there's water in about, I think, just a little over half mile. So I'm gonna drench myself, pour it all over me, drink up, cool off in the shade, and then just get to the next water and do the same thing. And the bad news after that is, I have to check for sure, but it's just a few miles, and then there's a big long stretch with no water, maybe 10 or so miles, which will actually, I won't get to till tomorrow. So at some point I'm gonna have to load up on the water, and then that'll just be everything I have until I get to more water tomorrow. Let's see how that works out. Hey, well, I got to the water back there and just immediately drenched myself. Just poured it all over my head and back and arms and chest and legs and my entire body. Just got myself soaked. And then sat down, filtered a liter of water, ice cold by the way, and guzzled about half of that down. Then filtered a second liter while I was slowly drinking the rest of the first liter. And then went back and got some more water to filter. While I was at it, I drenched myself again all over. And by that point, was actually just starting to get a little bit of a chill, which was great. Filtered out that 2nd liter of water and took off, and I've gone a couple miles. I'm feeling pretty good. So, been lucky. I mean, nothing's really changed except, I started off cold, and I also haven't been in the sunlight that much. This little bit right here, this is about as much as I've been getting. A little bit like that, and then I'm back in the shade, so that makes all the difference in the world. So I've got, well, from my last water source, had 4.5 miles to probably the next water, the last water that I'll have for the day. So we'll see. When I get there, I will have done somewhere around 24 miles. And I'd like to do a few more. We'll see how I'm feeling. But like I said earlier, then it's like 10.5 miles to the next water. So I'll have to really load up at that point. Well, here's my last water. It looks a little murky, but it's going to have to do. And I'll tell you what, I've only gone about 24 miles so far, but man, I'm done. I think I'm going to stop right here. My little tent is barely going to kind of almost fit in there. A little curvature, but anyway, it's I've hit a wall and I just need to be done, so I'm going to be done. Sit down, eat my dinner, and see if I can't get to sleep. Okay, well, good long night's sleep. We'll see how today goes. I am starting early because it got way too hot yesterday. I got way too hot yesterday, way too worn out. And yeah, so I'm going to try to do all the miles as I can while it's nice and cool. I think you've heard this broken record before. And then if it gets too hot, I'll take the afternoon off. Hike more this evening or something. Yesterday was brutal by the end of the day. So don't want to do that again. Boy, the trail sure is nice right here. I'm hoping it lasts. This section, the whole bit coming into Dunsmuir in these last couple of days, not been my favorite. Haven't been a lot of views and things like that, really, so I haven't gotten to see that much, but that's not really the biggest part. The biggest part is there have been tons of blowdowns everywhere. This trail's been really closed in, you're just like grinding through the trees. They're, raking you and poking you and all this kind of stuff. Also, the signage has not been great. They've got the sign set up in a weird way where they've got a sign that just says Pacific Trail at the top. Every sign says Pacific Trail at the top. But they're facing different directions when you get to like junctions. So you don't know which one's the Pacific Trail, Pacific Crest Trail. And and they've got all the other trails marked with arrows. So the sign will say, Blue Lake Trail right. It'll have a right arrow. And this and that trail this way. But you don't know which one's the Pacific Crest Trail. It just says Pacific Crest Trail at the top of the whole sign. So that's been kind of a mess. Every time I come to one of those, you got to pull out the map and look at it. And, some Yahoo decided to put kilometers on all the locations. So when you were coming into Dunsmuir or leaving and getting to some lake or whatever, it all says, 27 kilometers. Like, thanks. So, the European folks that hike the trail, I'm sure are happy about that, but the rest of us have no idea what's going on. So, anyway, it's been goofy, but man, I finally got to the top of that long climb that I started yesterday. it just wiped me out. And this nice little trail going gradually downhill and wide open is much needed. The good thing is I've got some pretty easy trail coming up. Today, tomorrow, not bad. At least what it looks like on the elevations. Then I get into Burney. When I leave Burney, the trail's super easy coming out of Burney. Getting into Chester, which is where I'll resupply after that. But then, the bad news is, coming out of Chester, whew, serious, long, steep climb. And then it's just a couple of days into the little town of Belden. You walk right through, and coming out of Belden, oh, super steep, long climb again. So those are not going to be great. That area is also in the Dixie Fire area, which I'll tell you about later. But then, once I get through those two things, then it should be fairly easy sailing into Sierra City, where I'm done. So I keep saying into Sierra City. You don't actually hike into Sierra City. It's just kind of the nearest resupply town, and I won't even go in there. I'll just hike out right onto the highway and put my thumb out and try to get a ride to the airport. So, or to, you know, a motel or something. So anyway, okay, back to hiking faster. These must be the sentinels watching over the valley. There's a new angle on Shasta. When I woke up this morning, I was in the forest and I hiked about 5 minutes. And I was out on the side of a mountain, and I had pretty much been on the side of a mountain, exposed to the sun all day long. And now I just walked into the woods, and it's so nice and cool. Well, in the earlier season, there's a creek that crosses the trail right up there, but it's dry. So if you come down here, you can see there's a little tiny bit of flow. So I'm gonna make my way down here, see if I can do it with the camera in my hand. Water's actually really good. I'm just going to need to make my way back there where there's that little bit of running water cascading down. And I think I can get right from that flow. I wonder what lives under here at night. Or back in there. Anyway, okay. Well, I just came off the trail out onto a dirt road. There were two section hikers there who have been working for several years to piece together the PCT. So I was really in need of a break, and they were already taking a break. So we talked about the various sections they've done and sections that they haven't done yet that I've done, and all this and that. Their names were Tent Monster and Dragon Ass. His name, not mine. And anyway, so yeah, that was a nice break. But now I still have 3.5 miles to go to get to some water. And then I'm still doing okay because I feel like I'm doing better today than I was yesterday. It was supposed to be maybe 5 to 8 degrees cooler today, but this afternoon has been the same as it was yesterday, except so much more of this hike has been in the shade, and there's been a nice breeze, and in fact it's downright windy in some places, so that's been good. But if I can hang in there, I'd like to get to this water sometime in about the next hour and a half, and then maybe 2 more miles to a tent site and call it a day. So fingers crossed. Okay, I found a nice little tent spot, almost exactly halfway between where I started this morning and the town of Burney, where I will be tomorrow night. I can't remember, I think I went 25.8 miles today, and I've got 25.7 more to get there tomorrow. I was hoping to go another couple, but really got here and went down this old abandoned dirt road, and there's a spring down there, a couple tenths of a mile. Got some water, and I just thought, man, I'm tired and there's no reason to push it. So anyway, I'm gonna crawl in and start winding down, try to hit the sack early. And also, right before maybe an hour ago or so, I was stepping over this small little tree that had fallen down, and it had a spike in it that hooked into my shoe right here. I mean, pulled hard, obviously hard enough to rip my whole shoe. So yeah, to hike with that tomorrow. But I've got new shoes waiting for me in Burney, so won't be too much of an issue. Anyway, good night.
Well, it's the middle of the night, and I'm awake for 2 reasons. One, there are deer right outside my tent eating. They were there before I even went to sleep. I chased them off, and they just came back. But I don't think they're causing any problem. And number two, I think my hunger has reached a new level. This is the third night in a row I wake up in the middle of the night starving. So I get up and eat something and go back to sleep. And so I'm going to do it again tonight.